Hello, welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 17 for May 9th, 2020. How is everyone doing this Saturday evening? And for you in particular, Andrea, thanks for joining me again.
Absolutely. I'm doing very well. High energy, good week, just feeling good, you
Nice.
know? Take what you
Yep.
can get in this
Yep.
crazy coronavirus pandemic. Any night you feel good is a win, so I'm taking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you? How are you doing?
Great. No, I'm doing good. I figure I need to open these shows with more energy, like get our audience,
Start on
get
a
them,
high.
get them as pumped as
Yeah.
I am to
Yeah.
talk about pop culture.
Well, then they should have been in on our jam sesh before the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we'll
Yep.
maybe we'll do some, like, unedited, just fun shots of us jamming out because 'cause we're pretty cool.
You know, I I am not great at it, but I like to sing a lot for sure. I like to sing, but I am
Ah.
very bad with lyrics.
See, I'm good with lyrics, but I'm, like, a solid shower singer,
Okay.
like, I'm good enough where, like, if you hear me in the shower, like, it's not terrible, you're not like, "Oh god,"
Yep.
but yeah, or, like, driving in the car, singing along, not
Mhm.
bad, but solo, forget it.
It's amazing what a difference it is to just, like, go a cappella, because 'cause you're,
Yeah.
like, singing along to something, and it's like, "Yeah, I can sing," and then you cut the audio, and then you're like, "Wow, I gotta carry this now."
Right. Yeah, it's amazing how you, like, know the notes when you're singing along, and, like, the second it's all gone, you're like, "Oh, I know it's wrong, but I don't know what the note is," and you just, like,
Mhm.
go off on your own all crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should work on my range and things would be better. But I don't know if it's hereditary or what, but my throat does get sore easily.
Oh,
Like
okay.
just from talking even, like
Sure,
I'll have
sure.
a long day of talking or hanging out or something like that and my throat just gets sore. It doesn't end up
Hmm,
I don't think it shows in then me talking. Like, I don't lose my voice, but
sure. Just feels sore.
yeah.
Well,
So,
2 of the best things I know, to prevent sore throat are tea with lemon and ginger.
okay, yep.
Um, and then also avoiding drinking cold water because that can freeze up your vocal cords and make
Mm.
them rub together harder. So you always
How
wanna drink, like, room temperature type water.
How about like pipeweed and ale? That's good, right?
I
I don't know.
haven't I haven't heard of that one, but you'll have to explore
Oh,
it and let us know.
yeah. Okay, I'll get back to you. That's
Test those results for us.
mhm. I'll
That's your homework for the week, Doctor
yep.
John.
I'll do like a day for control and then just go crazy. All right. Well, speaking of ale,
Uh-huh.
it's homebrew day, or it was a couple days
Yes.
ago.
Yes. A couple days
Saw you.
ago, it was oddly Homebrew Day and Cosmopolitan Day. I'm not sure how those got on the same day as each other because 'cause they're not related at all.
Because there's no
Um
crossover in celebration. So it's like we can have both of these and then you know.
Right. People can choose that one or the other, don't choose both. But so, yeah, so I've made myself a Cosmo here, feeling
So
fancy tonight.
what is in a I don't I mean, I've had a lot of quote unquote feminine drinks or a lot of
Sure.
drinks I suppose a Sex in the City has commandeered for the pop
Yes.
culture mentality.
Yeah.
But what is in a cosmopolitan?
So I used to be a bartender at a sushi restaurant, and a Cosmo was one of the things I would make the most often
Mm.
because when I was bartending, it was in like the early aughts. So Sex and the City
Yeah,
was still
right.
pretty huge. So it was like every woman who came in was ordering a Cosmo, and I was like, for God's sake, somebody order something else. I'm so bored. So I could probably make these in my sleep, but yes. So it's vodka, cranberry, and a little bit of Cointreau, which is like an
Okay.
orange liqueur,
Mhm.
and then you garnish with a lemon peel.
See, it's not a it's not a meager drink. You
No,
know.
I mean, if you make it well, it should be only slightly pink,
Mhm.
because you don't wanna dump a bunch of cranberry juice. The redder it is, the more watered down it is. So obviously you want just like a nice, like, light pinkish color.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it's
mean,
basically just some alcohol.
Yeah. We had on, I don't know if we were talking about James Bond on the Westworld episode last, or if it was,
Mhm.
yeah. And that's it. I mean, we're talking how Austin Powers may have, influenced the direction of James Bond and stuff.
Very true.
Definitely, James Bond and his cocktails for a long time were a thing. And Sex in the City
Mhm.
in the United States definitely sort of commandeered even the martini glass, you know?
Right.
Like the
Yes, absolutely.
cocktail. And I think that men that had trouble with, grappling with their masculinity just had to gravitate towards beer then, and
Right,
shied away from a cocktail. And so if they
right, it
got
was
a
too
cocktail,
girly.
yeah. Let me guess your number 1 cocktail you ever made. It had to
Oh,
be rum
okay.
and coke.
No, actually.
Really? Okay, 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 okay.
But
Okay,
I will say that that was close.
okay. Um, what okay, you worked at a Japanese place, you said, yes. Sushi
Yes, I
place.
worked at a sushi restaurant. Yep.
Hmm. Wonder if that had any influence. That's
I
because I
mean,
would've
the most I ever served obviously was sake.
okay,
I
sure,
mean,
yeah.
that's
Mhm.
but I don't do anything to that. I could
But
just
for
open it and
a
pour it
mixed
for
drink,
goodness sake.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Um, wow. Well, I mean, if it was a college bar or something, and then I would be like vodka Red Bull or something, but, uh, um, did you worked evenings then?
I did. Yes. Yes, I worked evenings. I will give you a hint. It
Okay,
was something served in the same type of glass,
okay,
a martini glass.
okay.
So,
So, just I see them a lot. How about a pomegranate martini?
ooh, you are very close.
Okay, what is it?
Apple martini.
Oh, an appletini? Okay, alright.
Yep. Yep.
I don't think I've had one of those either. Hmm,
Yeah, they're not my favorite. And I'm not like a big apple person to begin with, and so
oh,
I like apples even less
okay.
now that like you get that like fake appley stuff in the apple
Yeah,
martini and it just
mhm.
ugh.
Apple
So
sour
I
or
was not
something.
yeah, I wasn't a very big fan of that, but
Okay.
Cosmos and apple martinis, people just went crazy for, so that was what I served the most. Although I had a regular who I loved, he was so much fun. He came there every single Monday and would order, like, the exact same sushi meal every single time and order the exact same drink. He wanted a Maker's Mark Manhattan every
Oh,
time, and he'd
okay.
have, like, 2 of those and then, just, like, sit by himself at the bar, chat with the sushi chef. Sometimes he would read or chat with me. He was fun. I liked him a lot.
Nice. Did he
So
order food, or is it was just the drinks?
no, he ordered food. Like, he got the same exact sushi order every single time. So,
Okay.
like, we always knew, like, when he was coming in. It was kind
Mm,
of fun to have, like, a regular.
yeah. No, I mean, that's the television idea, right? Is you have,
Right,
"Give me
yeah.
my regular," or you come in and
Right.
just like, "You want that again? Yeah, okay, that's good."
Right, a little Cheers-esque. Everybody knows
Yes.
your name.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, piano notes, yes.
Well, and
Good.
he's like a good kind of regular, like, he never got rowdy or never had, like, one too many, and I had to be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, buddy, I gotta,
Right.
stop serving you," or whatever. Because I definitely did. I had some people that I had to stop serving,
Mm,
and I had to have my manager talk to because it was, like, a big group that were just rowdy and drunk and just falling all over each other, and I was just like, "I can't in
hmm.
good conscience serve these people anymore," so
That's not a sushi bar kind of attitude.
no, no, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it rarely happened. I think I worked there for a little over 2 years, and it happened maybe 3 times. So
Okay.
that's not bad. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't, like, all the time, but, it was just particularly memorable
Mhm.
because, of course, you don't think, like, people are just gonna get that crazy, but
Well, it's like
someone did.
when we've been at the restaurant at the hotel for Anime Detour
Yeah.
and stuff, and it's like, normally, that restaurant would be pretty chill or whatever, and you
Right,
feel bad, like, for getting louder, but
right.
kinda the event, so
Right, yeah, it's the atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's nothing really about a sushi restaurant that I think is conducive to, like, getting rowdy.
Mhm.
But, just sometimes, people just are letting loose and just let loose a little too
Yep.
much. So
I miss a standing room only bar with, loud music and it's kinda dirty.
Yeah, that's a college hallmark.
Yeah.
I haven't been to one of those in a while.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess just going out to any and all places really, but,
Yeah,
particularly, and just, like, kinda speakeasies and stuff.
for sure.
Nothing not much better.
Something to look forward to when all of this is over.
Yep. Um, let's see. Today, you
Mhm.
also found is Moscato Day.
Yes,
It's
yes,
good we're getting
although
in a little bit of, like, talk about drinks because it is Popcast on the rocks, it's
That's right.
implied in the pun, and I feel bad largely my whiskey has been like, "Oh, I'm drinking this whiskey, and that's it." I'm not, like, sip and let's see, slurp and tell you what I'm tasting and what it
Sure.
reminds me of, but, sorry, I won't do those noises in the mic again, but,
They're
yeah, so
captured forever now.
yeah. I have a Surly Furious Imperial Pale Ale.
Well, I
Um,
mean, it's not, like, literally a homebrew, but it's kind of a homebrew if you take the meaning a little broadly, because it's from
well,
Minnesota, our
yeah,
home state.
I'll take this opportunity to express my disappointment in Surly.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Surly, I used to be so excited about Surly. Like, they have they had cool beers, and then they made their new tap house, and um, I don't know, they could do no wrong.
Mhm.
But now since their one head brewer left, um, the whole thing's been changed. Like, they have their
Yeah.
outdoor concert area, which is nice, so they still have their nice kind of tap house and
Right.
restaurant and stuff. But they've completely changed their tone. Like before like it was Darkness is one of their yearly beers, and it's
Right.
always a bat on a rock. Like, it just um so not only has the I think the beers have they seen a downgrade in quality,
Mhm.
originality, the tone has shifted, and now the art is
Sure.
lame,
Sure.
sucks balls. Listening, it
Well,
was
don't
so
hold
cool.
back, John. I can't tell how
I
you really
know.
feel.
When we were in Denver, we went to this brewery, True Brewing,
Mhm.
and, it's great. It's like they're playing metal in there, and they've
Mhm.
got just these I don't know. I mean, I know beer is not about just the aesthetic of the marketing and such, but it is a vibe to the brewery.
Right.
We went just today to a brewery that we picked up a growler to go
Okay.
in Alexandria.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah,
You were out a little bit.
yeah, it's honestly about the distance to the Twin Cities for us.
Okay.
And
Sure.
they Carlos Creek Winery is there, which I love.
Oh, right,
Great
yeah.
wine. But now they have a pizza joint and a brewery.
Oh, fun.
And so this is Northern Brewing Company, and it's basically like Scandinavian Viking themed,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep, I've
So
heard of them.
yeah, so we bought a beer that's called Freya. It's a sour. I've got a growler. We're gonna open that up tomorrow.
Nice. Does it have,
Um,
like, a fruit in particular that it's based around, or is it just so sour?
um, there's something else to it. I'm looking at a picture I have of some of the ones. I'm not sure if I'll be able to see, but I'll
Okay.
have to report back on it.
Sure.
Let's see, Freya's Freya's Disco mixed fermentation sour beer.
Okay. So it
So
doesn't have, like, one fruit at the forefront.
yeah, I guess not.
Okay. Okay.
8.6%.
I feel
But
like that's just, like, a lot of what I see from sours right now is like, oh, it's like a peach
mm,
sour, or it's, like a cherry sour or something. So I
mhm.
was just curious.
So, yeah, I should talk about it more on the show. Like I say, being
Mhm.
um, kind of involved. And then for those that missed it, I think it was just on our last Westworld podcast. So if you're not listening to that, went to Dempsey's Brewing Company the other day too, and
Oh, okay.
did their flight. We got two
Right.
flights.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. I remember you talking about
um,
this. Yes.
and it was really good. There was really only like one beer in that we didn't enjoy. So
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, I to kind of like bring it back, I went to Surly, I mean, a little bit before, kind of everything shut down.
mhm,
Um, and tried a couple different beers and was really disappointed in a lot of what I was trying. I felt like there were so many new different ones
mhm,
that somehow like making that many new ones was diluting the quality of what I feel like they used to have. And
sure,
I feel like
yeah,
they were trying too hard to compete with like other breweries instead of just like being who they are.
mhm,
You know, I feel like a lot of like craft breweries that are popping up are like, they have so many different things. It's like you can try 18 different beers. I'm like, that's fine.
yep,
That's whatever. But that's not Surly.
mhm.
They had like four different sours and like this, a bunch of like pale ale stuff that I just wasn't. I don't know. I just don't associate with Surly. Like you said, I
Yep.
feel like they're into like heavier brews,
They've
or they
lost
used to be.
I mean, you talk about their identity, I think they've lost it. They lost
Yeah.
their lead brewer or whatever,
Mhm.
and to me, it seems like they're trying to distance themselves from that,
Mhm.
and, I don't know, they have a different
Right.
take on what they are now.
Well, and I guess there's nothing really wrong with, moving to a new chapter or,
Yeah.
saying like we want to do something different. But I just feel like it's maybe too much too soon, or just something's not working with this, whatever it is, it's just not working. So even if you want to try rebranding or doing something different, maybe it's just got to be led by somebody else.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. If you had a restaurant and you had a head chef that created the menu,
Hmm.
and then they left under not great circumstances, you'd wanna change it. You wouldn't wanna
Right.
sit there and prepare all their food,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always gonna be things that, like, they're gonna keep, like
Mhm.
Furious. I mean, it's just such like
Yeah,
a standard.
yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I get wanting to move in a new direction, but I think it's too all over the map right now.
Mhm.
So
Well, if anyone, is watching or watches this later, leave us a comment on cool breweries in your neck of the woods
yeah. I was gonna
or
say, I feel like I gotta get Brenda to watch this episode, especially because she loves Surly, so she should have some opinions about this.
Oh, we
And
should have
obviously
Brenda
about
on sometime.
brews. Yeah, for
If
sure.
we'd be into that, that would be cool because I haven't seen Brenda in ages,
I
and
know.
and 2, yes, she knows her beer.
She does indeed, as does her husband,
Yep.
Dan, so we could have the pair of them on to have a chat about that for
You
sure.
know, someday, maybe we'll be able to, like, get together outside, set up a few cameras, and we can try a bunch of new beers together and see what
Yes, let's do it, that'd be
sounds
very fun.
like. Yeah. Alright, well, that has, nothing to do with, what's upcoming here. I will mention quickly that, as I had alluded to before, we've been doing a bonus episode on Westworld,
Mhm,
usually Tuesday or Wednesday. Westworld just concluded season 3.
it
Um,
did.
so go back on Twitch or YouTube. We're not putting those in podcast form and
Mhm.
give those a listen if you are into Westworld. If you're not, still go listen to them because we don't get to Westworld till like 30, 40 minutes in. We talk about other weird
Absolutely.
stuff. So
We're
going,
easily distractible.
yeah. Mhm. But we got a lot. We don't have specific focus this week. Um, but we got plenty of news and some shows we watched and stuff.
Yeah.
So we wanna kick us off with
Yeah, yeah, I definitely will. So I am one of those people who loves The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt
okay.
on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. It stars Ellie Kemper. And it is basically a show about a woman who gets abducted by a doomsday cult,
Mm,
and she lives in a bunker for about 12 years. She's abducted when she's like, I can't remember, it's like 14 or 16 years old, and then lives in this like underground bunker with four other women for 12 years, and then finally gets rescued by like a SWAT team. And, they bring these women out and reintroduce them to the world. And she decides that she is going to live her life in New York City. She's like, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. And I just want to be around people and, out in the open and stuff like that. So it's a hilarious show of, kind of a woman finding her way after, like readapting to the world after being underground and only seeing three other women for 12 years.
yeah,
Um,
it's a while.
and yes, it's very funny. And it ran for 4 seasons, and then it was kind of unceremoniously canceled, after 4 seasons. Like, the show had wrapped up mostly, but they were kind of expecting a 5th season to really, finish everything out, and that didn't happen. So what they're doing is making a movie now that they're gonna be releasing on Netflix May 12th, so in just a couple days here. And it's called Kimmy versus the Reverend, and the Reverend is played by John Hamm, and he's the guy who kidnapped Kimmy all those years ago.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a role you would generally think of for John Hamm if you've ever seen him in like Mad Men or whatever. Um, but he plays a character called Reverend John Wayne Gary Wayne, and he just kills it. He's so funny. Yes, Reverend Wayne Gary Wayne. He's so funny. Um, I love him. So yeah, he kind of pops back up into Kimmy's life one more time right before she's about to get married um to her dream man, who's an Eastern European prince played by Daniel Radcliffe. Um I he wasn't in the show at all, so
Okay.
he's just kind of coming in for this movie bit here, but should be pretty fun. Um, you know, I've seen Daniel Radcliffe do like the whole what is it? It's I'm only thinking of the second half of the title, Dark Ages, but it's the
Oh, yeah, the TV show
right?
you're talking.
Yeah. Oh, Miracle Workers, Miracle Workers.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, so he's got great comedic chops, obviously. So I can't wait to see him bring that to this.
cool.
So that will be released on Netflix. Richard Wayne, Gary Wayne. Thank you, Alan. John Wayne, Gary Wayne. Goodness. I've had too many sips of my Cosmo already.
I've
Richard Wayne, Gary Wayne. Yep.
I've heard, yeah, I've heard lots of good things about Kimmy Schmidt. I actually had tried it once and wasn't a fan, just off the first episode, so, I never
Yeah.
tried it then.
It's kind of a lot. Like the first episode is just it's kind of you really have to stick with it, I think, for a couple episodes because the first one can be very overwhelming. It's very like wacky and offbeat.
Mhm.
Um but once you kind of settle in and you get a feel for like the world that they're building, it's really fun. Um
What
and
else is she in?
Ellie Kemper, The Office.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 okay, okay.
Yep.
Office.
And then it's also got the legendary Carol Kane, who obviously from watching Hunters recently. She's Mindy from the
Mm,
Hunters.
yep,
And from so much more than that, but just
sure.
bringing up like a recent topical reference. So
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
it's fun. Definitely give that show a try. And I'm excited to watch the penultimate movie.
Cool. Nice. Well, speaking of unbreakable, at least in terms of armor, we got Boba Fett supposedly is coming
Yes.
back. I heard some complaints on this because the Mandalorian TV series tackles a different Mandalorian than Boba Fett,
Right.
but the actor that plays Jango Fett, and then who then being they're all clones, Boba Fett is
Right.
supposedly coming back for season 2 or
Right. I saw that.
coming into the picture for season 2 of Mandalorian. So,
Yes.
he could be a clone.
Mhm.
I don't know that they've specifically said it's going to be Boba Fett.
Yeah,
Um,
they sort of alluded to, like, Boba Fett is back,
Mhm.
but in not like a very but just because everybody, like, visualizes him that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
not necessarily certain that it is Boba Fett,
It would have been nice,
unless Alan knows what we don't know.
no, he's saying the actor name there,
Yeah, oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Timur
Tamora Morris.
Morrison.
Yeah.
Um, I agree with, I think someone from IGN was saying it would be nice considering how they kept Baby Yoda a secret or the child, um, that we would have had Boba Fett as a secret too.
As a surprise, sure.
Yeah, but
It's
they did
I
allude to him in the 1st season,
sure.
so
I
I could
agree, it would have been really fun, but it's
mm,
so much harder, I think, keeping an actor under wraps on a
yeah, than a
set.
puppet.
Exactly. So I feel like they were just trying to be like, "We don't want this to leak, so we'll just, like, announce it, and it'll be a thing, and people will be excited."
Mhm.
So, I get it, but it's a bummer because it is so hard to hide those things
Yep.
anymore.
They'll be interested. I mean, Jon Favreau is the one hope left for Star Wars at this point.
What?
Uh,
What about Taika Waititi?
okay, all right. Okay. Well,
We were
look,
just talking about him.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
But
Okay,
yeah, I
okay,
mean, for existing Star Wars things that are happening now,
yeah.
I'm yeah,
There's
I follow
there
you.
is a lot of anticipation that they'll be able to get Jon Favreau in the role to head up Lucasfilm, and
Really?
I don't know that that's going to happen. It
That's
would be a really big
interesting.
shakeup,
It would
but
be. I don't mm, I don't know. I feel like Jon Favreau is a little bit nomadic, you know?
yeah,
I don't know that he would wanna stay in something that
I know.
permanent.
I know, but I mean, if they throw enough money at him, I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah, who knows? I mean, I'm just
Mm.
speculating. I obviously don't, have a close relationship with Jon Favreau and know how his mind
It just
works,
sounds like
but
there's a duality right now in Lucasfilm. And
yeah.
it's sort of
Mhm.
like a clashing of two sides of the company, and he's like
Right.
working hard to have his vision for Mandalorian, and then sort of the story group is working hard to have their vision for the rest of the universe. And
Mhm.
you know, everything Star Wars has got to be intermingled now. It's all got to work together and stuff.
Right.
But it sounds like supposedly there's some conflict in like um, production wanting specific things of John Favreau and John Favreau not wanting to have, include those things and
Mhm.
kind of like, inner chaos that we'll probably never know if it's true or not, I guess, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've gotta be careful to balance it because those kinds of things can drive people away.
yep,
You know what I mean? Like trying to micromanage too heavily or, be too prescriptive and say, you have to do this.
yep,
And I think John Favreau especially is not fond of that
yeah.
sort of
Like you
style.
say, he goes his
And
own way. He does a variety of things. Yeah.
right, and I think it's partially why he left, like, the Iron Man series. It's
Hmm.
because he was feeling Marvel was being a little too controlling.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Interesting.
so, I mean yeah, it could go either way. He could be like, "I wanna leave now because of this," or it could be "I wanna take it all over so that I'm just the
Yep.
boss and I can just do whatever I wanna do."
Yeah, it's a
Who
good
knows?
point. I mean, I wasn't gonna bring up, Microsoft, but I guess it kinda or sorry, Sony, but I guess it kinda
Mm,
goes into our next topic. Just
sure.
Sony's been having a lot of turnaround,
Mhm.
and the question
Yeah,
is, why is all that their one gaming company, Naughty Dog, has lost a number of people now, and they have their current, debacle and stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely it's fascinating, these inner like power struggles, and like when they say creative differences is like the one be all
yeah.
catch all thing,
It
it's like
is.
kind of is true a lot, but that entails a lot of backstabbing a lot, I think,
Yes.
not just
Whenever somebody says that, it makes me think about, like, the most cited reason for divorce is irreconcilable differences, and that's just such, like, a broad nothing
yeah.
term.
Oh,
Like,
I still wanna bring up a topic we're talking about later. I'll tease it now.
okay.
Housewives, because I'll get back
Oh,
to
yeah.
that, that thing later, yeah.
Yes. But
Um,
yeah, I mean, creative differences can mean a range of things.
yes.
Usually that, I mean, I feel like you can sort of infer that somebody's being too controlling in a relationship when they say
Mhm.
creative differences. Um, but yeah, that's
Yep.
tough.
Well, in other controversy, Microsoft is getting sued over
Yeah.
controller stick drift, much like Nintendo did.
Mhm.
Supposedly, someone has found out the kind of how the controllers wear, um,
Mhm.
and I guess it's enough people to warrant a lawsuit at this point.
Okay.
So we'll see how they respond. Nintendo responded, I guess, quickly by offering replacements or repairs or whatever on their Joy Cons quickly.
Mm.
We'll see how Microsoft responds.
I was gonna say, it sounds like that's all they have to do too, just take care of it.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no point in I think when you get enough people reporting something like that, there's no point in, like, trying to drag it out and fight it and just, like, cheat people out. Because I feel like Microsoft sometimes already fights for gamers, to, like, get gamers to them.
it's been. I mean, it's a tough. It's a tough thing to like know. I mean, ultimately, usually these companies they know the statistics on a lot of this stuff. I think on controllers, it's less so probably,
Mhm.
but it's hard to I think filter out the noise because everything has a rate of failure.
Oh, sure,
Every
yeah.
product. And so there's, anything you look at, there will be complaints that people buy this thing, this is junk, whatever, have problems.
Right,
And so
right,
knowing that real number of when it's enough with a large enough percentage that
right,
you need to act and it's beyond like the normal,
right.
that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's at least easier to tell when it's a number of people complaining of the same issue, not just, being specific about it and not just saying like, "Oh, this controller's junk." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's not descriptive, and then I feel like you can ignore those type of
Mhm.
like, well, this is just general complaints. But, when people start complaining about like a specific issue they're having, it's like, "Okay, well, let's monitor this and see
Mhm.
how many people report the same issue."
Well, like for me, I don't know, it's an abusive relationship I have with Microsoft. But it's the not to like uh put be belittle actual abusive relationships, but I mean it's sick what I do. And the problems I've had
Mhm.
with not only Microsoft products, but with specifically with Xbox has
Yeah,
been vast and
sure.
extreme compared to other things. So like I realized some of this stuff where went through this period where our Xbox One controllers kept disconnecting, just in the middle of gameplay,
Yeah,
disconnect, and they would
I've had
not
that.
reconnect.
I've had
And
that.
then I looked it up, and it was a pretty widespread problem, or so it seemed. But it's
Mhm.
not been something that's enough that it's been addressed. And now they just work. But I mean, it's yeah,
So
it's one of
maybe
those.
they did
Yeah.
address it? No,
What's
I'm just
that?
kidding.
Oh yeah.
I said,
Well, I
"No,
mean,
maybe they did address it."
no, no. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's I think it's just the particular frequency they choose to use
yep,
for the controller, it gets interference from other things, and
yep,
it's like, well, okay, that's weird. It's my something weird on my end, but none of my other systems have this
right.
problem,
Well,
like
and it's
ever.
something you shouldn't have to, like, think that hard about.
Yep. Mhm. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, I think they're on a better path now, and I think that the current Microsoft will probably respond in a customer friendly manner. So.
Good.
In other torturous activities I'm doing in the Microsoft regards, I am going to try out the Surface Buds for everyone. I know this isn't a tech podcast, but just mention it quickly. I'm a big
Yeah,
AirPod user, and they work great, um, really, really well. But I want to see what these offer, if they're more comfortable,
mhm.
um, how well they stay in my ears,
So do you
and if
have
they.
them now or
I
ordering?
don't. I pre-ordered. They release on the 12th, so
Oh,
I should
okay.
get them then.
12th is
And
a big day.
yeah, I know, right? Schmidt and Buds. Um, so I'll probably try them on this podcast. You can tell me if they look. I'll pull my hair back so you'll be able to tell if they look silly, like gauges or
Sure.
so. That's that. I guess we were going to go over a little bit of what we're watching, maybe. Just update you on some shows we've been checking to look at?
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the map right now. I'm feeling back in the swing of binge watching.
Oh,
Um,
that was quick.
yeah, I know. I wasn't feeling it, and then I watched a couple good shows and was just like, yeah, that's right. There's like, I think I was maybe sort of. I tried a couple new shows that I hadn't really liked and was just kind of feeling like, ah, I'm like surfing
Yeah,
through some endless content and I'm not finding what I want. So, I was just sort of feeling dispirited about that.
yeah.
Um, but now, so I binge watched uh Dead to Me season 1 in anticipation of season 2 that just came out this Friday, yesterday.
Oh,
And it is fantastic.
okay.
If you are thinking about it, have heard of it, if anybody wants to give it a try, definitely do it. Um, Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini are hilarious together. They do this sort of like buddy routine throughout season 1, um, as they're trying to solve the mystery of who killed Christina Applegate's husband in a hit and run. And it's so funny. It's so great. Um, so I'd highly recommend that. And I'm only one episode into season 2, but it's starting out strong. It's like just as good
Okay.
as
Nice.
season 1. So far pleasantly surprised. And if there are any like old school X-Men nerds out there, James Marsden is in it
Nice.
as well. And he is like a bumbling idiot, but also kind of perfect.
Does
So
that count as old school X-Men fan? I mean, are we that
um
old yet?
I mean, kind of.
I
I
guess.
I I still think of X-Men when I think of, like, the very first X-Men, because that was one of my
True.
favorites, like, the original
Yeah,
X-Men out of all the
the
the,
movies, yeah.
yeah.
All the superhero things. I think we talked about this early on the podcast, how important that movie was to superhero
Yeah,
movies, I think, yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So I have a lot of issues with some of the subsequent X-Men movies. And I don't think that unfortunately they've gotten any better as they've been rolling along. There's Days of Future Past is probably my second out of like the whole, older
Okay,
slash newer reboot. Um,
interesting. That's a neat
yeah.
conversation to have.
Yes,
Um,
we should. I mean, obviously, like the X-Men cartoon is my ultimate favorite out of all the X-Men, but if we're gonna talk like live action,
the
I can't unsee Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. Do you know what I mean? Like he just is
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
So
Well,
that to me
speaking
was
of
like a good blend of like the new, like interesting, younger cast coming in as X-Men and then like bringing it back
yeah.
a little bit.
Well, another allusion to or like, I don't know what you call it, but, um, Housewives later,
Oh
they
yeah.
played that game the other week where it was game, quote unquote game. Say like what you thought of a person when they first met him or something like that.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, that
My f-
horrible
my
game.
first impression of you was very positive because right away I knew that you liked X-Men and particularly Gambit.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm
That's
thinking in my
right.
head, Chris, you've got a good one here. Like just
Keeper, keeper.
yep. So yes,
Yes,
the
yes, Cartoon Gambit is my favorite. Not that, they didn't try to do something with him recently, but, in the live
mhm,
action movies, but, I mean, it wasn't working, and I still can't stress enough how excited I am that Channing Tatum is not gonna be playing Gambit.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
it doesn't work in my brain at all. I can't see him with the accent. He doesn't look anything like Gambit.
Nope.
Yeah,
Alan
so
says Nightcrawler.
oh, I
Alan, do you
love
like,
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler from the films as portrayed by Alan Cumming, or do you prefer the cartoon variant, or just something from the comics? Uh, I mean,
Yeah.
I was
I
like
I thought Alan Cumming did a good job. I
he
mean,
did. Yeah, I think he did what you could there.
right, yeah, I mean, he didn't have, like, a huge role in a whole lot of stuff, but
For the time, I mean, that opening, I think it's in X-Men 2 when they show him and he's, like,
yes.
breaking into the White House. That's
So
great.
good.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But I
I
liked him.
do
I
enjoy
played a
that.
character kind of like him, now that I think about it, in D&D once. Um,
Mm,
sort of the, he's very religious, but has to come to terms with the violence he has to do,
mhm.
um, to people that he'd really rather not. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of an interesting concept in, like, X2 because Nightcrawler's not aware of what he just did, you know? Like, he knows he did something wrong and horrible by trying to attack the president,
oh, in the yes, in the beginning.
but in that instance, you know,
Mhm.
he's not aware that he was, like, doing that, and he wasn't exactly in control of himself at that point.
Yep.
So,
X-Men, I mean,
but
when
yeah,
it comes to comics, X-Men have been my favorite. So, yeah, we should talk about the film sometime because,
we should.
I mean, yeah,
I
it's
should go back and rewatch some of them because I think I probably would find them better than some of my memory, even though, you know, there are some
I
parts that I
mean,
just can't reconcile. But
Westworld just ended, and we got our bonus episode. We were just talking about that
great.
we can maybe move to The Boys, but we can always do an X-Men rewatch too. I mean,
That's
it
true.
some of those things would be like, yeah, that's very 90s, but we might see the influences of superhero movies today, and I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think early X-Men did suffer from being very grounded in its time,
Mhm.
you know, of like the 90s and things like that. Um, but I don't know that unfortunately later X-Men made any improvements.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like even though they don't feel as dated as older X-Men do, I don't know that like anything better happened to the films.
Not having rewatched them in many years, I think it comes down to the best. There are 3 films that are the best in the X-Men
Okay.
franchise. If you okay, well, I was gonna say if you don't count the Deadpool movies, but you kinda have to count the Deadpool movies, right?
Well, you kind of do because they do have more than Deadpool.
Yeah. So,
You know what
in
I mean?
that
Like they have other mutants
they're in
in
that
it. So,
universe. Yeah.
yeah.
So, I'd have to say X-Men
Yeah,
2.
I would have to recalibrate based
Yeah.
on Deadpool.
Alright, this is gonna be another rabbit hole. I'm not gonna say because we got other things to talk about, and X-Men
We
movies,
do.
there's a lot there. So,
But, okay,
you're
so we're gonna plan on an X-Men episode for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. Other things you're watching.
Yes, so, yeah, wow, what a tangent from Dead to Me season
Yeah.
2 through X-Men and Deadpool. Um, so the other things I'm watching right now, I just finished, Never Have I Ever by Mindy Kaling. She's the executive producer on that show, and it's about, a young high school Indian girl, um, who unfortunately I mean, sort of spoilery, but you learn this within the first 10 minutes of the episode, so I don't feel like I'm giving too much away here. You learn that in the past year, her father died very suddenly of a heart attack, um, at her school's, like, spring orchestra concert, like, while she was playing. So she's traumatized by that, and she becomes so traumatized by kind of, like, watching him die in front of her that for a while she loses the use of her legs.
Oh,
um, yes, it's just psychosomatic. She just, you know, she can't deal with the trauma, so her body just sort of responds by, you know, in this kind of strange way. But then she regains the use of her legs over the summer, and then now is going to like start a new school year, hoping to put all of this like past trauma behind her. And from the way I just described it, I know it doesn't sound like it, but it actually is a comedy.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it deals with some very real, like, dark, heavy material, but it's kind of dealt with in the fashion of somebody who's, you know, kind of, like, struggling through, kind of, you know, figuring out her way, you know, does some crazy stuff to try and move past it. It doesn't work, and she eventually has to deal with it.
yeah.
Um, but very well written, great ensemble cast, and I've really loved, like, a lot of things that Mindy Kaling has been doing recently, like, her, recent movie, Late Night, is one of my favorite new movies,
Okay.
also because I love Emma Thompson, so anything she
Oh,
does is just, like,
sure.
gold for me. So I watched that, and then I'm also watching Mindy Kaling's new show or newish show, Champions. um,
Mm,
which is about a former baseball player who finds out he has like this gay son who's auditioning for this prestigious New York City, you know, performing arts school and just kind
mm,
of suddenly has to take him in. So that's kind of okay right now, but it's a
okay.
lighter note that I'm kind of enjoying right now. And then to switch kind of completely, I'm watching a little bit of anime as well, a movie and a show. A show called Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, which is a cute little like slice of life high school show where a girl likes this guy and he's super into like creating manga. So she learns how to do um, uh, uh, some of the
Art and
illustration
stuff.
works,
Mhm.
yes, so that she can help him produce the manga that he's working on and just like spend time with him. So that's kind of really another cute
Mhm.
show that's just a little bit lighter and fun. And then I just started a little bit of the Violet Evergarden movie, which is
Okay.
like the follow up to the first season of the show.
So what's that other Violet Evergarden thing that's on Netflix? There's like a side story or something. There's 3 Violet Evergarden things on Netflix.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to look at that. I only know of the 2. So what I'm watching is Eternity and the Auto Memory Doll.
Okay.
Um, so that's the movie that I know of, and then I, of
Mhm.
course, watched the first season of Violet Evergarden, but I didn't know that there was a 3rd thing. What's the 3rd thing called?
I don't remember, but it's there. Violet Evergarden, search that, and it's like an offshoot, a specific, they get sent on assignment, and it seems like this
Okay.
is covers one specific assignment. So,
Sure, okay.
well, like
Interesting.
on that note, this upcoming week we're planning to talk all about Violet Evergarden, very
Yeah.
spoilery. So everybody, um, please look forward to that. And it's it should be good. It's such a beautiful show.
It
It's really
is.
gorgeous.
It is.
Um, and so yeah,
I
I'm
think they
working my way
do
through that.
I think they do the first season well, like with the story reveal. You know, they
Mhm.
they take you through like this really beautiful and moving story in a really interesting way, and they save some great surprises
Mhm.
towards the end that really are impactful. They're not just like surprises to be surprises.
Yeah,
They're great parts of the story.
Ashley's excited because some of the voice actors in that
Mhm.
are voice actors in her Persona 5 game.
Oh,
Some of those
cool.
voice actors are
Yeah,
in a lot of things, and it's
yeah.
including this. So,
Well, they pick good
um,
projects to be involved in.
yeah,
Just half the battle sometimes.
yep. So yeah, I'm watching that as well.
Mhm.
Very beautiful show. I'm pushing to get it done by Wednesday. And I'm also it's been a little while. Work has slowed me down, but it's been a little while. But
Sure.
I've been watching My Hero Academia yet. It's a really fun one
Right.
that I don't feel like I have to um like I don't forget anything. I can take a break from it and come back in it and it's still good. And then Rick and Morty just started up again.
That's right.
It's a real trippy kind of episode. Um, it moves fast. It's Rick and Morty for sure. And Alan had talked about another by those guys, Solar Opposites. I don't want to try that yet. I have it
Right.
set to record on Justin Roland.
Yeah, I've heard
Um,
some good things about that as well.
good.
Should try
Yeah,
to check it
I'm
out.
excited to. I just I just love that. It's whatever their attitude or style is. It's a lot of fun. So, and then last night, Ashley and I were partying. It was, and one of those party things was Promare.
Okay. So you
So
did watch
that's,
it?
yep, watch that. For those that didn't catch it earlier, that is by Trigger, the anime studio behind Kill la Kill
Mhm.
and Gurren Lagann.
Mhm.
um, and they have a certain flair and a certain aesthetic for sure, and that's very present here.
Okay.
Music is great. The like use of color and the insane animation is great. Ashley didn't think she was gonna like it to start because there
Okay.
is some mech stuff and she's not a mech person,
Right.
but she loved it. She
Okay.
loved it. It's got a true. It's not a ton of like original ideas
Mhm.
or themes, but they're done in their own unique, wacky way.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it's just a heartwarming, compelling story wrapped
Sure.
up in this glorious like kaleidoscope of intense. You know, if if weed is legal in your state, this is what you watch.
This is what you
Wow.
watch while you're
So yeah, I recommend it highly
Okay.
for sure. It's a fun film. Sometimes anime, and I mean any show like gets this thing where they're trying to stretch out, whatever their narrative is, and being in this movie in this compact space, it's it's just as effective without the bloat.
Okay.
So yeah. Other party things we did last night, and kind of shifting into video games here now is
Right.
the Fortnite Party Royale concert. So they kind
Okay.
of, I mean, they've been over time slowly doing concerts within Fortnite, and
That's
now
cool.
since the quarantine-ish stuff,
Yeah.
they did one with Travis Scott, which was a bigger interactive thing, which not a big fan of Travis Scott necessarily. I don't know anything about him, but it looked really cool.
Kylie Jenner's baby daddy.
Oh, okay. Okay,
That's
I
how
didn't
I
know
know
that.
Travis Scott truly.
Okay. And since then, now they've created, which I think is a brilliant, brilliant idea,
Uh-huh.
game mode of Fortnite called Party Royale.
Okay.
And you open the game, which is free. You open Party Royale mode, and you can go in. You can grab like paint cannons and like dart guns or whatever. You can't hurt anyone. All this stuff, and
Sure.
people play a concert, and it's a lot better in ways than people setting up some sad scene in their basement to like do their DJ set.
Sure.
um with this is like in game, and to me
Right.
they had some good artists I was interested in this time. So it was Dylan Francis, Steve Aoki, and Dead Mouse.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, I tweeted for the first time in a while today or whatever. I should retweet it from our page, some couple screenshots I took. um
Will do right
and
now, actually.
you
Happening
can.
live on camera.
Nice. But I encourage you to go like watch it on IGN or watch your favorite streamer during it and stuff if you're interested in those artists. And make sure you
Oh,
keep up
yeah.
on. They
Very cool.
rebroadcasted it this today, Saturday at in the afternoon. And yeah, just
Mhm.
keep an eye out. I think it's a great way. You can jump in with your friends or whatever on voice chat if you want to enjoy it that way. We just turn it up. Otherwise, Deadmau5 took off his helmet.
What?
What? I know he
What?
did. Yeah, I
Shut
don't know if
up.
he's done this before. I hadn't heard, like, this being news, but to me, it was news to me, so I was like, "Wow,
That's
what."
awesome.
Yeah. And I wore my speaking of X-Men earlier, I wore my Psylocke skin
Oh, nice.
during the
Okay.
concert. So, um, so yeah,
That sounds like a
that's
fun Friday night.
it was, so we watched this, we watched some other music videos, and
Mhm.
then, watched Promare, and yeah, it's a good time.
Definitely. Way to unwind and kind of have a, like, a fun Friday.
Yeah, yeah. Um, as a heads up, and again in other video game news, there's
Mhm.
been a sale on Assassin's Creed games on Xbox. I'm assuming it's on PlayStation as well. I just haven't
Mm.
checked.
Sure.
Um, but it's
It's
a
a
great
major
sale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. I couldn't
Mhm.
believe it when you texted me about it, and, I mean, I know you said there was, like, a sale, but I just wasn't expecting things like, "Oh, this is normally, 59.99 and now it's, like, 14.99."
Yeah.
It's just
Things are like
crazy.
40 to $70 off,
Yeah, I mean, it's really excellent, so if
Mhm.
you're, thinking about playing Assassin's Creed, which I highly recommend, do it.
Are you guys
Buy
gonna
it
get any
now.
of them?
Yeah, we just went through, what we have already to see what we don't have so we can buy.
Okay.
I can't remember which one we're getting because I mix so many of them up, in
Well,
their titles, but I know we're getting at least one.
okay. I'm uh um I'm guessing the sale's done tomorrow.
Yep,
That's my I'm thinking. And
or perhaps by weekend end.
yeah. Yeah, one of the two for sure.
So,
Um,
jump on it.
right. Jump on it. Jump on it.
Speaking of concerts, jump
Yeah.
on it.
I got Assassin's Creed Origins,
Mhm,
and my wife therefore we both got Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
mhm.
Um I'm going to play Origins. She's going to
Okay.
play Odyssey. That's what she's doing right now.
Nice.
And we were
Little
talking in the
action.
car and how Assassin's Creed has been a blind spot for us in the gaming in
Okay.
gaming. But we love Witcher, and Assassin's Creed seems to have been moving in a more open world RPG fashion. And so
Mhm.
we're going to give these a try. I'm very into ancient Egyptian stuff.
Yes.
And
I do
her
remember that.
being, we can't do like our Mediterranean trip. She's going to go to the Mediterranean now.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Replacement Mediterranean for her.
yeah. Mhm. So we're going to do a thing where I told her to take notes. Each episode, we're going to tell you something we learned from Assassin's
Okay.
Creed about the culture or the mythology or whatever,
Okay.
and not gonna fact check it. We're just gonna Assassin's Creed is reality. We're just going with
Sure.
it.
Yeah, no, buy
So,
in, buy in.
we'll tell you, you all will believe it and tell other people that will just believe it, and we're good.
I like
Um,
it.
yeah. So if I encourage you, if you get one, I mean, firstly, we could do episodes on what we experienced or something.
I was gonna say we should all at least be playing a different one right now because I've been really I think thorough and consistent every, kind of Christmas when a new one comes out, I've bought one for Chris because that was
Yep.
kind of his like big game that he first got interested in like when we started dating. So
Hmm.
I knew how much he loved that, so I kept buying him all of those. So we I know we have, I would say, at least 80% of them.
Okay.
Um but I haven't played them because it's mostly been him. But
Well,
I should pick one and play one, and then we should all just do it.
I frankly don't want to I thought about streaming it on our gaming channel,
Sure.
Gamecast on the Rocks, but I really don't want to. I want to experience not have any pressure and experience this open world that I can just kind of,
Yeah,
maybe I will do some clips or something.
sure.
But there's something we could talk about just doing, and if anyone's watching, um, let us know if you'd like an episode where we just talk about our different experiences and the games we're playing, and if we're all in Assassin's Creed
Right.
right now, we can
Or
do
if you
something.
have a favorite Assassin's Creed game that you'd now recommend for me, because I'll be picking one, but if
Yeah.
somebody has thoughts about like a really good one I should try. Because I've only played two.
Okay.
No. I've played parts of others, but thoroughly consistently played two.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, now is a good time. We're gonna go into the
Yeah.
summer, and you don't have a PlayStation, so the PlayStation titles won't be um in your purview there or whatever.
Right.
And so we can get these kind of under wraps before Cyberpunk comes out,
Right.
and that will
That's
kind
gonna
of
be
be
fun.
a palate cleanser before the next Assassin's Creed,
Exactly.
So it's
Before
kind of these,
Valhalla comes out.
yeah. Yep. So anyways, there's that. You'd found
Well,
this summer. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking if we wanna transition, speaking of
Yeah.
Valhalla, they obviously there was a major demonstration and introduction of Valhalla on this Thursday, May 7th. That was part of the Summer Game Fest series. It was kind of their kickoff event that was happening. And before we get into that, the next event is happening on May 12th, like we said, a big
Hmm.
day. Um, and it's called Surprise Number One. And it's going to be a brand new game reveal with Jeff Keighley. And that's honestly
Nice.
about all I know about it. But You can tune in. If you sign up on their website, they've got like a Summer Game Fest schedule section. You can sign up for that to get notifications, add those things to your calendar. I did it to mine so that I know what's going to be happening on May 12th and what new
Nice.
game they're going to reveal.
Yeah. Well, like, so the kickoff event was the Xbox event this week or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, did you get to watch that?
I did. Yes.
Um, what do you think for kickoff for
um
Summer Game Fest?
There were yeah, it was mixed for me. There were good moments and bad moments. Um, I think and not to reiterate too much or, kind of beat a dead horse kind of thing, but there wasn't a whole lot of gameplay and they had it billed as this big, like, we're gonna reveal the gameplay to you kind of event.
Mhm.
So, I mean, disappointing for sure. There were a lot of complaints about that, and I get it, like, if you're looking forward to, like, what is this actually gonna look like for you, the player? You didn't see that a whole lot.
Yep.
Um, you just kind of saw a lot of trailers. Did you see cool trailers? Heck yeah. Like, there were
Mhm.
some very cool games that I thought, came up and were teased. Um, and I especially enjoyed some of the interviews that they did, with creators, with writers, with producers, with composers. So that was really fun for me to kind of remember, like, yeah, this is like this massive production and it takes so many people to build a game. It kind of reminded me of the human effort that's behind producing a game. So that was kind of fun for me.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I get that there were disappointments for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is sometimes really, really remarkably terrible at communication, or like mixed messaging.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, everybody seems to have that consensus that the issue was the way in which this was advertised. And I don't,
Right.
they even said, like, oh my God, tune in for tons of gameplay. It was
Yes.
just, hey, this is a first look at any gameplay on the Series X.
Yep.
And technically, we kind of got that. But
We got
um,
like not even 2 minutes, like a minute of that right at the beginning, I thought.
yeah,
And then
I mean, if it don't, I think that they should have they've controlled the story enough about next gen at this point.
Mhm.
They could have waited till they were ready to really, like, drop the hammer and showcase their
Yeah.
own first party stuff at this
Yeah.
point. If they couldn't get any giant reveals,
Mhm.
you know, then just wait because you've
Right.
already had enough information out there.
I agree.
Um And yeah, I mean, they're fighting their way back in the gamers' eyes. So pulling stuff like everything that has the tiny text on the bottom. This is in work development. We're this is representative of what we imagine gameplay will be like. No, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. um,
Yeah.
if they had marketed this differently, because
Right.
there were some cool things, some cool games, and I
Right.
think it's a bigger deal, like the Yakuza game they showcased there.
That looked
Um,
amazing.
all of a sudden, they seem to have a good relationship with Sega, and
Mhm.
they've gotten the Yakuza games on Game Pass.
Mhm.
And so, if they're going to get this Yakuza game day
Right.
and date with PlayStation and stuff, that's great news for them
Right.
and for Xbox fans.
Yeah, just I agree. Just there were cool things to be revealed here.
Hmm.
But I think it got overshadowed by the fact that people felt that, they kind of pulled their punches and just like, did a little bit of misdirection and sort of false advertising and saying this is going to be gameplay that we're going to
Yep.
show you. And it wasn't. And I think you just have to own that and just say, like, listen, we don't have gameplay ready yet. We might have like a little sneak preview of some things. Like I said, I think there was like a minute of gameplay early on, and then later on with the other Japanese focused game where it was like a psycho kinetic soldier. I cannot remember the title right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
Scarlet something or
Right.
It's by Bandai Namco, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so there were moments, but it wasn't the extensive gameplay that people were expecting from the way that it had been hyped. So
Mhm.
just be straightforward, and then people won't be focused on the fact that they're so disappointed that you didn't
Mhm.
deliver.
And in to their credit, Microsoft did come out and kind of acknowledge this. So
Yes.
not many other companies today would probably do that. They did come
Right.
out and say, "Hey, we're sorry." They
Right. But you don't have to apologize if you didn't, make the
Yeah.
mistake in the first place, I think. So,
I'm very excited for this upcoming console generation stuff and see what I mean,
yeah.
I'm really interested what the drama if there's any credibility to the drama behind Sony and,
Mhm.
what's going on there, and
Right.
will be yeah, I hopefully this, next surprise for Summer Game Fest, on Tuesday, I think there
Yep.
is, adds more, delivers more, so,
Yes.
um well, I'm gonna take just a short break here.
Mhm.
Be back in for our Twitch viewers in a minute or 2 minutes. Get new refreshments.
That's
Run to the
right.
fridge and grab a snack, that kind of thing if you need to. And stick around if you're interested. So this is gonna lose most of you anyways. We're gonna find,
A very different
Andy.
tone after the
Yeah,
break.
yeah, you tweet it, Andy from Bravo right now. We're getting into Housewives right
That's
now.
right.
You can hear our thoughts. So right after this break, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Popcast on the Rocks. This is episode 17. We just got done talking about all kinds of craziness and shenanigans and gaming stuff. And I mean, you're gonna have to go back and listen if you missed it all. It's so much great content.
It's
But
a wealth of
now
information for sure.
it is. It is. That's why I'm thinking maybe we need to separate, we get some of our move our game talk to a separate thing because
Well,
it's a
especially
lot.
I think with like we were talking about Summer Game Fest, kind of being
Hmm.
this sort of 4-month bonanza of, like let's look at new games, let's look at new content, let's look at new gameplay, kind of what are
Yep.
we doing? Maybe we do. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's kind of big right now.
Yep. Yeah. And with new generation coming, there's
Mhm.
always something to talk about there.
Absolutely.
But in other topics that where the cast spans many generations at times, sometimes older generations, we got Real Housewives to
That's
talk
right.
about. Bravo, Real Housewives. Um, oh, the
Start
viewer
off.
count is shooting up. We just got so many viewers right now. Um, Beverly Hills, Housewives of Beverly
Yes.
Hills, your staple. What do you think this week?
Um, I thought there was so much unnecessary drama. And I felt that truly in a way that was like it felt like they were reaching a little bit for some drama. Um, first off with Teddy's retreat, I kind of had a little bit of notes here before I get into like the weirdness. I did like to see before Teddy's retreat happened, Sutton finally to me was like a human being.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I haven't liked her a lot, and I still don't know that I like her, but her kind of moment of, like, "I feel really insecure right now. I feel bad that, like, I said some things to Teddy, and I tried to apologize, but I'm still not, feeling like it's sitting right." And then her total loss and what to do during the fitness sections of the retreat where she was trying to box, and she was just like, "How does everybody know what to do? And I don't know what to do." I at least felt like she was a human being for once,
Hmm.
which
Yep.
was nice. It was a nice break after like, the first 3 episodes of just Sutton being like a total bitch.
Yep.
So, I
Yep.
was relieved to see that, I was like, "All right, I can tolerate you for a little bit."
Crocodile tears. No, I
I mean,
it
yeah, I mean, the
mm,
tears were a little much, but I got the feeling of it at
yeah.
least.
She it's probably where a lot of this stems from is her insecurity, you know.
Yeah,
She's probably pretty insecure on one thing or another, and so she, puts up whatever wall, and I'm a total bitch and I got to brag about the money and brands that I have and stuff, and she's just uncomfortable.
yeah,
I don't know,
but
maybe.
it yeah, I mean, maybe not, but whatever way she's, coming across has just been
Yeah.
terrible for the
Mhm.
first couple of episodes. So it was nice to sort of like see her as a regular person.
Yep.
Um so the retreat, everybody kind of got there that was gonna go. And it was fine. And then Dorit showed up and Kyle decided to pick a fight with her.
Mhm.
And I really didn't understand the impetus for this fight. Like I didn't understand why she and Dorit's not always my favorite housewife. So, like I was sort of surprised that I immediately was like very defensive on Dorit's behalf. But I just didn't understand like the way she was upset because Dorit arrived late to this retreat, but Dorit like said from the get-go, she was like, "I'm not gonna be there for the whole retreat. I'm
Yeah.
gonna arrive late." You know what I mean? Like if she
Right.
hadn't said that initially right away, I would have been like, "Kyle, totally get it. Like it's super rude to be late. I hate lateness." But the fact that she was just like, "I'm gonna be late," and Teddy was like, "Sure, that's fine." I really didn't understand
It was
like
supposed to
why this was an issue.
Teddy, though fumbling it, was trying to tell everybody, "Come and go as you please, be there if you'd like,"
Right.
all this stuff, and so Dorit just, "I'm gonna come late, I'm gonna say hello and visit and get a massage, and then I'm gonna go." Like, that's,
Then
dinner and then, like, that's what it was gonna be. She didn't wanna
right, and
clearly Dorit exercises, so
well,
it
right,
felt
yeah,
like
she's not in shape.
yeah, so she didn't want to do it there or whatever, they're giving her a
Yeah,
hard time about her Instagram fashion shoot beforehand or something. Well,
right,
it's what she decided to do, like, lay off.
right. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a little weird that her defense was, "I have a life," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, yeah, like, an Instagram photo shoot isn't like your busy life, like, I get that."
Dorit does get defensive and, like,
She
say
does.
I nonsensical things sometimes.
Right, like, it was a little, like, misdirectional to be like, "Oh, it was my busy life, and I had to drop the
Yeah,
kids off at school," like,
right.
that's some shit. But, I
But
mean, it never needed to come up because
it's like, were you
I still don't understand
yeah.
why Kyle was just like, "You need to explain to us where you were."
It's like, Kyle, like, it's like, "Are you late because of glam?" And I'm thinking, "Yes, she's late because of glam, because Dorit always looks immaculate, always." Every week,
Yeah,
I'm
she
gonna take
looked
that opportunity
great.
and we talk about this, like, just, like, Dorit's style is just impeccable. So,
Well, I do have to say, I like her style this season much more than I did last season.
I think she's just upped it. Like, to
I
me,
I
so
I last
you didn't
season,
like the way she looked before?
well, okay, last season, I had an issue with her hair specifically.
Mm,
Not necessarily her outfits, but, like, the whole, like, head full of sparkly clips.
okay.
I wasn't there for that at
Uh,
all, and
that was
every time
a
I watched it, I was just like, "I can't," like, I'm so distracted.
that
It
was
was
the
tough for
interview
me.
look, right? The confessional
Yes.
look? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I just wasn't there for that.
if they don't nail
Um
that look, then sometimes it's terrible because you see that so much
Right,
throughout the
because you see it
season.
so
Yeah,
often. It's, like,
yeah.
sprinkled throughout every episode, and you just, like,
Yep,
look at it and you're like, "Ah!"
yep.
So, yeah, so I've loved her looks a lot more this season. There was one other one that I wasn't quite in love with last season, but I have actually really liked her this season. You know, her fashion game. I thought it's been on point.
I've always thought she was one of the, if not the most fashionable housewife, but this year I
Mhm.
feel like she took a challenge to, like, I don't know, like, challenge herself or something,
Yeah.
knowing that she really represents this, swimwear line and stuff now, whatever it is,
Mhm.
um, 'cause
Yeah.
yeah, we should do a thing where we rate their confessional looks or something.
Ooh, okay.
Right now, Rena is at the bottom.
Yes! Oh my god,
She's
I was
got
just
the
gonna
giant
say that, that pink
earring
number.
and then the, like, intense, pink
Eyeshadow?
eyeshadow. Yeah.
I can't with that. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That was the first thing that popped into my mind. I was like, "Ew, I hate
I
it."
hope my father's watching right now. "Oh my god, the pink eyeshadow?"
It is really terrible,
It's
though. I
bad.
mean, like, I think even if you know nothing about fashion, that look is just it
Yeah.
doesn't work at all.
And
And
then
Rinna's not,
Erica's
like,
good. Okay,
ugly
sorry.
or anything, you know what I mean? Like,
No. Oh,
she's, like,
no.
fit and she, like,
Yeah.
looks good, but that look for me is just, like, yeah,
Yep.
at the bottom for sure.
She goes out there though, and it's not, it definitely doesn't always work, so
Yes.
just
Yeah,
try something different.
she does try something different, which, I always appreciate. I think obviously Erica Jane probably takes the most fashion risk out of
Mhm.
anybody, but
Uh,
Rinna does try to do some different stuff.
I'm not a fan of the, and Ashley likes it, but I'm not a fan of the, like, athletic chic
Like
that
athleisure.
yeah. I mean,
It
it,
is very big right now.
yeah,
Athleisure
I
is
mean,
having a
look,
moment.
I understand the, like, Lululemon or whatever stuff, right? That, but but the what Erica does is like track suits and stuff,
Yes.
and I don't like it, I just
Yeah.
don't think it's not my thing. It's
Yeah,
not shapely. It's not. I
it's
don't
not
know.
particularly mine either, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like with Erica Jane, I'm trying to like think like, maybe is she coming from a rehearsal and it's
Yeah.
just kind of like translating that into some streetwear or something. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I try to think like, yeah, she's doing a
Uh,
look, or sometimes like maybe she's just is coming from a rehearsal.
I think it's just doing a look. I mean, fashion's
Sure.
it's all about, like, fooling you into thinking it's something else.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It's
you wear
utilitarian when it's really just decorative. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yep. It's like I wear, my, like, keffiyeh scarves a lot and stuff. It's like most of the time, that's just for looks, It's
Sure.
just what I wanna wear. But and then for work, sometimes I wear them for dust, So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should, like, pull up images. Alan's gonna have to pull them up, and we're gonna have to rate, like, confessional looks
I
for the
bet that's gonna be
season.
the favorite thing he has to do for this show.
Yeah.
It's just pull up housewives looks.
Yeah.
I can
We'll
picture his face right now, so excited.
Supply of photos, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, other
So yeah,
things,
so I
um
just I just I thought that was really weird that Kyle was just picking that fight and just couldn't let it go. And then sort of it ended up um kind of hypocritically causing them to miss that whole sunset meditation and yoga.
Mhm. That
And
was a
because they
good
were fighting so much about it,
yeah.
they ended up missing that, which was like the whole point of Kyle's fight was like, you're supposed to be here and participate. And then she's the one who caused them to miss out on participating.
That was a good juxtaposition that the show
Yeah.
did, like, "La, la, 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 la." Oh, zen, focus on your breathing, la, la,
Yes,
la, 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 la.
the sun sets peacefully in the background as you
Yeah,
think about, your goals and like they're just
mhm,
like, "Ah, what are you talking about, you
yeah.
bitch?"
Well, Ashley always talks about how annoying Kyle is now when she's just up Teddy's butt. She's just
Yes,
that's
they're too close. It's weird.
that's why,
She
like
acts like Teddy's mom a little bit, or
oh,
like big sister or something. Do you know what I mean? Like she's
yeah,
weirdly protective.
yeah,
Like this whole episode I thought was like her picking that fight with Dorit was like, you should have been here to support Teddy. And she felt like her mom or something.
yeah,
And it's like,
yep,
Teddy should just talk for herself. And if she
yep,
said, like, come, don't come, do whatever you want to do, then you have to take that at face value.
yep. That's why, like, the bit where um, they're talking at dinner then and stuff, and they go back and
Yes,
show
the
how
dinner part two.
yeah, and they show how yeah, they're always like they're always have
Yeah.
each other's back. If you never have if you have a conversation, or you have a problem with either Kyle or Teddy, then you
Yes.
automatically have a problem with the other, and they have to
Yes.
interject.
Yes, I still remember last season, Dorit's trying to talk to Kyle
Mhm.
at the concert, at the Boy George concert, and like Teddy's like, "Oh, well, she really means this," and Dorit's like, "Can I just
"Can I
like talk to
just talk
Kyle?"
to her for 1 minute?"
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I thought PK was in the wrong right there, and like Dorit for defending him like was kind of in the wrong, but I got what she was trying to say. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
that
Like,
was the joke scenario, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, it was
I
it
mean,
was weird.
it was kind of a, like, poor taste joke, but,
It was, and I
you
and I
know
didn't love that, like, Dorit defended it. She should've just been like, "Yeah, it was a bad joke." But I got that she was trying to talk to Kyle about it,
yeah.
and I was totally on her side for being like, "Shut up, Teddy, you're not in this."
Mhm.
Like, you don't
Ah.
need to interpret, and you don't need to be like a weird third party mediator here.
Teddy has gotten bad, and, I mean, like, I know she's
Yeah,
never great.
I'm
I like
just
first season, I gave her a chance, but she's just obnoxious now.
yeah, I just don't she's probably one of my least favorite housewives.
To to me, this always, like, showcases I mean, for whatever fake stuff there is, it
Mhm.
amplifies real life in when you look at the wives and then the husbands so
Yes.
often because the dudes are all like they're excited, hey bro, excited to see each other, and then the women are just over there fighting, and
Yes.
then it's so I feel bad for for them at times
For the
because they
husbands, you
clearly
mean?
yeah, like, particularly, like, on
Yeah.
sh like, New Jersey and stuff, the husbands, they're just good friends, they just hang out and shoot the
They
shit.
clearly like each other, and then it's awkward when their wives are fighting, they're like, "I guess I
Yes.
can't see you."
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, it was the same thing with, then Dorit with PK and
Mhm.
then, LVP
Yeah,
and,
Ken, yeah.
yeah, you know,
Mhm. That
Ken
was very
and
sad,
PK they wanna hang out, and wanna make this work, and
right.
it's yeah.
Well, and honestly, I mean, we don't know that everything that goes on, and
Yeah.
maybe PK and Ken are trying to see each other even though, LVP is obviously not on the show anymore, which still makes me sad.
Yep.
But, I hope that they are because, yeah, I mean, you always can't be responsible for your partner, and you can't, like, choose your friendships all the time based on your partner.
So, what'd you, think of when they said then, uh
At the dinner part 2.
yeah, when Kyle is, "I always stand up for my friends," or whatever, and then
Okay.
Rena's like, "Well, not always."
I thought that was real. Like,
It was. I mean,
it's impossible. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
especially in this sort of friend group where, like, so many things, like, change different people's friendships at any given moment. Like,
mhm,
we're not talking about you stand up for your friends against outsiders because I do that. Like, anybody who doesn't know any of my friends, like, I'm
yeah,
immediately like, yeah, I'm quick to defend my friends and, like, back the F off. But I mean, within a friendship, you try to be like, well, you don't always see eye to eye with everyone. And if
yep,
people have a disagreement, sometimes you understand more somebody's perspective. That doesn't mean that don't like the other person.
right,
It just means like at that particular moment, like you kind of understand it one way
mhm,
and you're at an impasse.
mhm,
So yeah, so I thought that was really unrealistic of Kyle to be like, I always defend my friends. And it was like, well, no, like not in this group. You can't say that.
yep,
So I thought it was really real of Rinna to bring that up. And it was just like really funny that Kyle just got super defensive about
yeah.
it. Um, and I thought she was really rude to Denise. Like,
Yeah, like, "Back off. Leave me." I forget
yeah,
what she said exactly, but I know, and Denise's thing is like, "Well, it's my house and my party or whatever," you
right.
know?
Well, she was just trying to say, like, I'm not understanding why you're really going after Dorit right now
Yeah,
because it seems like nobody else cares about this. Teddy especially doesn't care. So
mhm.
just be normal. And then she was like, back off. You don't know. And
And
she's
what
like,
was the
well, yeah.
shade about her party? Like,
Right.
right when
The
people,
ice sculpture diamond there, like,
yeah,
who
it's like,
cares? Did it
yeah.
offend you in some
It's like, this is
way?
not a Denise party, this is, like, too fancy or something, and it goes
Well,
and then I don't know.
and to be quite honest, like, it's one, like, ice sculpture of a diamond. It's not like she had, like, ice sculptures ringing her
Yeah.
backyard and, like, diamond, chandeliers over her backyard. I don't know.
Oh,
It it just was really weird that she felt the need to throw shade at this
yeah,
one thing that was fancy. The rest of it was totally chill.
yeah, yep. I, one other thing that really bothered me in the episode was, I don't remember if you put it in your comments too or not, but,
Mm.
um, oh, just Erica complaining, like, calling Denise a prude and stuff, like, "Oh, I thought I was at Wild Thing's house." I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's not about her, clearly
She just
Denise
doesn't want
is
our kids
open."
to
Yeah, she just
hear.
doesn't wanna talk about crude
Right.
things in front of her
Yes.
kids.
Yeah, so I
Like,
put it very abstractly in my notes when they were having that conversation about, like their threesomes and like kind of lesbian
yeah,
moments that they were going through. And Denise was just like, can you just like wait till my kids are inside, please?
yeah. I just was like,
Totally
I was
reasonable.
disappointed in Erica in that. It's like,
I
don't,
was too.
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference because I mean, Erica has a grown-up son, so if she wants to talk about like her threesome time in front of her, very adult son who's now having a kid of his own, like that is super different to me than like talking in front of like Denise's 14-year-old daughter about the time that you dated a couple and had sex with a couple. Like
Some of the
that's yeah.
conversations
That was
with,
a bit much.
do you remember Rena's conversation? She was thinking she was having like late night, like a nightcap with Erica and then her daughters. Wait, was
Vaguely.
this? And it was talking about her book, and it
Yes.
would talk about like how to do different things.
Yes,
And
yes.
they're like, I just like, what is, I mean, I guess it's out there, so,
Right.
but still, I don't know. I don't have that kind of relationship with my parents, nor do I want one. I don't know
No,
what your
no,
relationship
I
is.
don't ever wanna hear about my parents' wacky times. I mean, like, I hear about my parents, like, funny drunk stories, and that's about, like, my
Sure.
limit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I hear about, like, the first date my parents had, they got pulled over by the cops, and my dad
Mm.
had, like, an open six-pack in the back of the car, and, like, that to me is like, "Ha like, super funny," or whatever,
Yep.
but I don't wanna hear about, like, sexy times.
Or the
Like,
time when we all got pulled when you got pulled over, Andrea, leaving
oh,
the
yeah, when
bar.
somebody needed their Taco Bell to
Well,
carry over from the spoiler cast talking about Taco Bell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am, you have a thing hanging on your rear view mirror? What a lame excuse to pull you
It
over.
was,
That is
it was the
it's
worst.
clearly just you came from the
Oh,
bar,
right, we
hoping
wanna
to
pull you over, we
get
wanna
some
check it
money for the
out.
city because yeah,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely the worst because I remember that that was my costume of girl with the dragon tattoo. So, of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
I was all, like, punked up, like, I had
Mhm.
piercings everywhere, and I had this, like, heavy eyeliner and, like, black leather
The look
everything.
you should do all the time, you mean.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did like that look.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, of course, it was just like, "Oh my god," like, I look like such a troublemaker, and of course, they're
Mhm.
pulling me over right now.
Was
That's
that the
that's
night
like a
Chris was
funny story I would share with kids.
yeah. Wasn't that the night Chris was supposed to drive? Was that night?
Yes,
Okay.
Chris was supposed to drive and then ended up getting super drunk and tried to sleep it off in my car
Yep.
and woke up and was like, "Nope, didn't work."
Yep.
So, yeah, so I ended up driving because I was sober enough to drive.
Mhm.
PSA, like, no drunk driving, not cool.
Yep.
But I was sober and ready to drive, so that ended up being fine. But yes, Chris was supposed to drive.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought that that conversation was fine, and clearly, like, Denise has been comfortable having those
Yeah.
conversations, see last year camping
Yep.
where she
Mhm.
talked about her happy ending massage, but yeah,
Yep.
totally legit to be like, "Listen, can my kids just go inside before we talk about this anymore?"
Yep. 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 Well, I think that covers it for Beverly Hills, but New York was also on
Yeah,
this week, and you're watching that now as well.
I
Um,
am, I'm trying anyway.
are you not enjoying it?
I am for the most part. It is a little bit more difficult to jump in, when
Yeah,
you
this many
haven't had to
seasons
build up.
in.
Yeah, this many
Yeah.
seasons in, it is tough. I feel
Mhm.
like mostly I can follow everything, but there are some moments when, they reference older things and I'm like, "Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Don't know what that is."
They don't take I mean,
So,
it'd be hard to, but they don't take time to explain
mhm.
who these people are,
Right,
and the journey they've been on or whatever,
right.
so yeah, it's definitely I could see it being a game of catch up. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it is nice that, like, Leah is a new housewife
Yeah.
this season, so I feel like there's some sort of, like, jumping in point for me and, sort of
Mhm.
like a restart as she learns who the housewives are, I can sort of learn too. So
Yeah.
that's kind of nice for me, honestly, but yeah,
Mhm.
there are some moments that I'm just like, I don't know if I'm not getting something or if this is just the way they are."
Mhm. Yeah. I'm really hoping Leah is here to stay.
I am too, I like her a lot.
So far she's good. Um, I'm just looking over your other notes there.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah, Luann with her first drink in a while, like Luann being off of
Yeah.
probation now.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think, as they were saying, I don't think Luann was an alcoholic. Like seeing her in
Mhm.
past seasons, she was not more alcoholic than
Not
any
than
any of
anybody
the
I was gonna
other.
say not than anybody else or any other housewife on any show, really,
Yeah,
because 'cause they're
I
all kind
mean
of a little bit of drinkers.
Sonia or Tamra or,
Yeah.
just I don't know who gets nut or Kyle, Richard,
Yeah.
or his sister
I was
before.
good. Well, Kim is a little bit of an alcoholic,
Yeah.
like, to be
But I
fair.
mean, yeah. But I'm just
But
thinking of
but yes,
other
but, like,
drinkers.
Kyle,
Yeah. Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
Kyle absolutely, when she has a couple drinks, dinner just goes nuts.
Yep. But the problem with Luann was that, she got married quickly to this guy that
Mhm.
was clearly a scumbag, like,
Yeah.
very obviously.
Yeah.
See him from a mile away, can't trust this guy,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then shocker, he was like with other women and doing all, whatever.
Mhm.
And so yeah, she got mad and had an encounter with the police one night when she was really drunk.
Yep.
And therefore there's your whole thing. And I don't know. I
Yeah, I mean, anybody can have, like, an unfortunate night,
mhm.
and that doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. Like, I think of, Reese Witherspoon. when she got arrested, like, not even a year ago, I think.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Okay.
and her husband was driving and they got pulled over and she was clearly drunk and she was, like, talking back to the police and she's like, "You know who I am," and so they booked her, um, but it wasn't like, she had a persistent alcohol issue. It was just, like, a bad night where she just, like, had a couple drinks and reacted the wrong way when the police pulled them over, you know?
Yep.
Like, anybody can just have that unfortunate experience.
Yep. Uh,
So, yeah,
well,
I thought it was a good thing that, like, Luann had her first drink. She wasn't like, "I'm gonna down the whole drink." She was just like,
yeah.
"Oh, a couple sips
Had
of
a couple
vodka, now
sips.
I gotta
Yep.
go off stage, like, I'm good." So, good
Yep.
for her.
Speaking of going on stage, so Alan,
Comedy
can
comedy
you,
night.
Alan, if this is possible, you should find the song "Do Feelin'
Feeling
Giovanni"
Giovanni.
by Luann. I've just I don't know how to say her last name even after all these years.
Gillespie's?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Just it'll come up. If you could find that and play just a snippet of it, it's okay because we're just playing a snippet of it and we'll comment on whenever, it's under fair use. But
right.
um you should and let us know if that's possible and if you're ready. But anyways, what did you while it happens, if that happens, what did you think of the show, the comedy show?
I thought it was awkward. Like, I hated to agree with Ramona and Sonia because they were rude about it, but it was kinda boring. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know,
I
what they were
thought
showing us, but it just wasn't, like, all that funny.
Well, when they first showed
Sorry.
Jock,
Yeah.
I thought both Ashley and I thought he doesn't seem like a comedian. He doesn't
No,
seem
not
like
at
he'd be
all.
funny. And
He's so dry,
yeah,
like, he might kill it maybe in, like, a European sense, or, like, a British dry humor maybe,
but I
but
like that stuff.
yeah, I
So
mean, I don't know if maybe it's just, like, a language barrier and it doesn't, like, translate very well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
maybe, yeah. That's
but
giving it too much
yeah, he
credit.
just
That's give it
it
can be funny. I
I'm
mean,
trying to give him an out, but
yeah,
'cause I 'cause I don't know him very well, so, who knows?
some people were
Um,
saying they couldn't hear him. I could understand him fine,
yeah, I
like
could understand him just fine, but I mean, I don't know in the context of, like, that room, if maybe people in the back couldn't hear, or, like, it wasn't very clear what was happening. I don't know. I hated to agree, but it was
Mhm.
quite dull.
It's too bad he
Sorry.
called out Sonia, honestly, because she was paying attention.
Right.
She was there and trying to be a good
Right.
friend and stuff, and everybody else was
Yeah,
talking to.
finally paying attention after her, like, faux
Yeah,
pas at Fashion Week
yeah,
last
right?
week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
no, it wasn't good.
speaking of which, the whole thing with her
Oh, her
business,
fashion line, yeah.
yeah, and not, seeing any increase in sales,
Mhm.
after the
Well,
show.
I mean, to be fair, that was a poorly put on show. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, who knows what it might have been had that been, like, a fully executed, feeling professional show.
I
Like we were
mean,
talking about last week, there was no music. That's really awkward. Like the clothes themselves were good. It just like the atmosphere of the show felt very amateur.
yep, it did.
So
I mean, I've seen, uh, Ashley used to do the fashion show Rafa for, the hair
yeah,
studio, and that was way
yeah,
cooler and more professional seeming than
absolutely.
this, so this
Do you
was like
remember that I did that one year?
oh, I remember
Yeah,
that being talked about, but,
I was in that for 1 year. Yep.
you should share a picture of that. I don't remember what you did or anything, what the
So, yeah, so I was in that, for 1 year, and I had, like, a long bob kind of thing, and my hair was dyed black, and then from the end up, it was ombre deep purple.
huh,
It was
cool,
super sweet. I loved
nice.
it. I loved it so much.
I remember the purple, that's right. I remember you
Yes.
having that, but I don't remember
Mhm.
how it was in the show and stuff and what the outfit was.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. Well, speaking of what we talked about earlier, Brenda came with me as my date to the
mm,
show because Chris wasn't able to be there. And she took a bunch of pictures and she took some video.
Oh, nice.
So I should see if she still has that.
Yeah, tweet him
So she
out.
can I can tweet him out and then she can share, when we do finally book her on our show for a guest appearance.
Yeah, cool.
So, but yeah, no, getting back to your point, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of like, um more local shows that are better produced than what
Yeah,
Sonya put on.
yep. Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Um, the you talk about the being cute that Dorinda went back to revisit places,
Yeah.
but it's kinda not though, because it's just sad that, you know,
Mm.
she hasn't she has not moved on. Like, she
Mm-mm.
has that idyllic life from before that she
Mhm.
no longer has, and it's just making her angry, and it's not fair to John, who she's dating, and it's not fair to everybody else that she's, like, taking it out on, that she's just not, like, not
No.
happy where she is, you know?
I
And
agree, and I thought it was cute in the beginning because I thought it was maybe a way for her to let go and say goodbye.
mm,
I mean, maybe it was like a way to get closure. I don't know if that really happened, but yeah, because I do agree with you. It's not cool that like she is taking so much of her frustration and her yearning for a bygone time out on the other ladies. It's not cool at
mhm,
all. So I thought it was cute because I thought it was like a way forward and a healing path, but we'll see if
yeah,
that's actually true.
yep. After seeing Dorinda for the number of years I have, it's not.
Mm,
It's not.
okay. So
Uh,
yeah, so see there your experience comes in where
yeah.
me as a first season, like I'm so hopeful.
Is it? I I just still am amazed, startled, frankly, that I'm sitting here right now talking about this stuff in depth about the Real Housewives because you can blame Ashley for getting me into this however long ago.
Good job, Ashley.
Yeah, we frankly, because I guarantee you, people that are watching this earlier, probably they're like tuning out now and stuff. We could do a separate show on just Housewives.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah, it's
mean,
it's funny that you bring that up because so I have your birthday present and I've had
oh,
it for a while and it's Housewives related.
uh,
Yes. Um, and it's hilarious because I had gotten it and Chris like opened up the package and was like, "What is this like Housewives thing?" And I was like, "Oh, it's John's birthday present." He's like, "John watches Housewives?" And I was like, "Shut up." Like John watches more Housewives than I do. He's like,
mhm, yep.
"John? Like the John that I grew up with, John?" I was like, "Yeah, that's right."
That's
So
funny.
it was very funny. But for all Chris's like shock, he could definitely talk to you. He could hold a conversation about Housewives for
Okay,
sure.
sure.
From the number of episodes that he's at least seen, in the
Yep,
background of while I've
yep.
been watching.
See, and I've always tried, like, it's funny because I always tried to resist different seasons,
Mhm.
like, oh, okay. So Ashley starts watching Jersey and I'm watching it some, and I'm like, this is, I don't like these people. This is dumb, and I go away. And
Yeah.
then I come back and like start asking questions,
That's
you
what
know,
Chris does.
and before you know it,
Yep.
I'm just into it. So
Yep.
it's happened with Jersey, it's happened with Potomac, those for
Okay.
sure.
Yep. I have
So
watched a couple episodes of Potomac. I've watched a couple of Potomac and Atlanta. Those are the only others I've dabbled.
gotta watch Dallas. Like if you
I
just
I know
one
you
more to
guys
watch,
do.
yeah,
Okay.
it's gotta watch Dallas. So but
I'll see if I can fit it into.
well, Bravo does a good job to space them out. There's usually 2
Yes.
running at a time.
Yep.
Sometimes there's like this weird little overlap of 3. Like I'm waiting for the reunion for Atlanta.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're supposed to be
Hasn't come out
doing
yet.
online
Yep.
like Zoom kind of thing.
I saw that, yep. I
So,
mean, not the reunion, but the preview.
yeah. So yeah. Well, anything else on Housewives of New York?
The only other thing I'll say was I don't understand. So, kind of capping off comedy night, everybody agreed that it was a little bit of a dud, and then they're just like,
Mhm.
let's go drink at the bar. And, Dorinda and Tinsley were like, we should chat about our differences. And Leah and Dorinda and Leah kind of were like, maybe Leah should be a mediator. And I thought that was a good idea.
Sure.
Like it seemed like a fine idea. And then I understood that Tinsley was like, I don't need anybody to speak for me.
Mhm.
But I just don't think that that's the problem. I think that the problem is like Tinsley can speak for herself and Dorinda can speak for herself, but they need somebody to be like, take it down a notch and try to understand where each of you are coming from.
Mhm.
It's not that they can't speak or can't communicate, it's just that they're not like understanding each other.
I don't know that that should be Leah, though.
I don't
I
know if it should be
mean,
Leah. I
because
mean,
it needs to
I
be
thought that
someone.
maybe it would be a good idea at first, and
Mhm.
she seemed, at least Dorinda seemed open to it. So I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, I'm ready for somebody to, try and solve this, but Tinsley
Yeah.
got really defensive about it, so maybe it's not Leah.
I see you put in here, like, Tinsley seemed a lot younger.
Yeah, when she
It
was with her mom.
she it's a weird thing with her mom. It's a weird relationship. And look, her mom really, 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 really wants her to have a kid. And they had,
Yeah,
like, last season were
I can
crying
so
over,
relate to that.
like, Here's the eggs you have frozen," and they're just crying
Mhm.
over them.
Mhm.
Um, it's yeah, it's a strange thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I
but
can totally get that because my mother is also one of those mothers who's like, you should have a kid. Like, we're ready for, you to have a kid. I want to be a grandma. And I get that pressure, but that I don't know, the way Tinsley seemed to interact with her, it almost made her seem like 17 instead of
yeah,
44. Do
yep.
you know what I mean? Like she just like regressed so much. It was really crazy to me.
She's I think it's become more and more apparent over the seasons that she is, um, her growth was stunted at some point,
Sure.
like her
Sure.
maturity. Like she definitely was taken care of too long,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know. And
Coddled a little
then
bit.
yeah, and then came out like single and stuff, and just not, you know, I not aware of how to take care of yourself and like how to function
Sure.
as a individual. And
Sure.
so yeah, now it's like catch up. It's like I'm in my early 40s and oh my god, I need to have a kid and I need to be in a relationship and oh my god,
Right.
and it's like it's gonna yeah, my life's gonna be over. And just relax, go to a like a, you know, Buddhist retreat. Don't worry
Yeah.
about other people, like just fix yourself. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she just I don't know, the whole kind of early part of the episode, she just seemed really young to me, and it was especially apparent in her interaction with her mom, but then the way she was kind of talking about ending her relationship with Bruce, and being like, "Listen, I was kind of maybe only dating Bruce so I could see Scott, and I was
Yeah,
hoping," that
what a
just seemed very like
teenager
high
move.
school drama to
Yeah,
me. I was
yep.
like, "Oh, icky." Like, I
It's
feel
good
bad
that
for
she
Bruce
admitted
right
it,
now. Yeah, I mean,
that
it
she's
it is.
self-aware of that.
Right, well, and it's good that, like, she wasn't trying to continue the relationship and waste Bruce's time, but I
Mhm.
felt kind of bad for, Bruce watching this,
Yeah.
at some later date. If he does. I mean, maybe
Mhm.
he's just like, I don't even
He'll
wanna
hear
know if I
about
was
it.
discussed. But
He'll hear
yeah,
about it,
it
yeah.
felt kinda sad.
Mhm.
Like, it just felt a little juvenile and like, I'm dating this guy maybe to run into my ex and, like, hopefully I'll see him at the lockers and we'll pass notes and stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It just felt childish, and I was just like, "Ugh." I didn't
There's
really
a
love that look on Tinsley.
I wanted to bring up too with, I forgot one of the big points for me was, and you
Mhm.
and it kind of tying into the other show too,
Alluded
is
yeah.
Leah's weird relationship with
Yeah.
her
Her
baby
ex.
daddy.
Mhm.
And it's like, this isn't the only show where there's one of these in there, but to me, there's something wrong. And, like, you don't know every situation, but there's something wrong with a couple or an individual, even with if you're great friends, you get along, you can co-parent, you have fun
Mhm.
together, all this stuff, and then you can't make things work together.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, clearly that's a communication problem or an issue
Mhm.
with, like, not being able to make some accommodations for one another, or like one
Right.
of you changes drastically when when you have that. But
Right.
that stuff should be able to be fixed with therapy, like pointing out, like, hey, you change when you're together like this. You need to knock that off. And like, oh, you're right. I
Right.
do this. And because
Right.
it's that way in Jersey. There is a couple
Okay.
that are together all the time. They even live together. The
Right.
woman
I do
the
know about this
yeah,
actually.
the woman
I've
has a
seen this.
boyfriend that's
Yeah.
non-committal, and she has
Yep.
her ex-husband. They
Yep.
all live together. They have
Yep.
a son. They like it's like,
I've seen
why
that. Yep.
aren't you just together? Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. I
Right.
don't
Yeah, I mean, I know my note in here was kind of about, like the way that Leah and Jeff, I think his name is, co-parent, and that's really great that they can co-parent so well.
Mhm,
And I was relating it to Garcelle and her ex about, co-parenting so well. But in Garcelle's case, I understand, why they're not together because her husband cheated on her.
right.
Like with
Mhm,
multiple people in like this really massive, like heartbreaking way. Like that's
yeah,
different to me than, like we just can't work it out.
yep.
Like the very vague, irreconcilable differences,
Yeah.
like that
I'm
to me
sitting
is
here
nothing.
talking about how lonely I am,
Right. And you
and
seem to have a guy who's like, like your best friend, who's the father of your daughter, who's there for you, who understands you, knows your history.
I
What
just
is
would
it?
think you can make it work at least to raise your child,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if
that's
you at
that's
some
not always
point
the case in all scenarios, but in this case, it doesn't seem that there's any one thing that like broke them apart, like cheating.
yeah, she said that he never proposed, just never proposed. So and she
So
was kinda upset about that or something, and then I mean, I don't know. I just
I
don't
don't know.
know,
I
it's
feel like
weird.
that's something that can be worked out, but I mean, maybe I don't know because I have been proposed to.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, in watching well, I won't tie it as go on a whole 'nother thing. Um, I was gonna bring up Violet Evergarden. I just will be another
Oh,
rabbit hole thing, so
sure. Well, you can tie it in on Wednesday when we talk about
yeah,
it.
right. Um, well, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I
We've
think
gone
so.
very long talking about Housewives. I hope
Well, and the news we've covered this week too.
yes. That's what I'm saying. This could be 2 podcasts right here. We could have done podcast 1, podcast 2. Um,
Well, maybe we can split it up that way
yep.
since we took an official break.
Yeah. We gave everybody a warning that the coolest
That's right.
content is coming next after the break.
That's right.
So, well, everybody, thanks for watching, and
Mhm.
everybody should go check out the band Killing the Flower on Spotify and Instagram. They are responsible for our newer theme song that we've put to our opening video. Eventually, I'm gonna have to say it's not. I'll stop calling it new, I guess. But I,
Still our theme song.
yeah, I still it still feels new.
That's right.
Um, Otherwise, in terms of our content, like and share and subscribe.
Mhm.
Um, Twitter, Facebook, you can look at our website,
Mhm.
um, Twitch and YouTube. This will be on all your podcast directories. Leave us a review, particularly on Apple Podcasts. It helps people find us.
Mhm.
And leave us comments. Let us know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, are you only interested in Housewives and you'd rather us just do a
A
Housewives
separate podcast.
podcast separate?
We can do
Are
it.
you like, I want to talk about movies. So why are you talking about gaming stuff? So make
Right.
that separate. You guys need 3 different podcasts. Tell us that, and then that's maybe what will happen. So
Exactly. Tell me what Assassin's Creed I should be playing.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe you need a Twitter poll for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get that up and
Yeah.
we'll have that run through Wednesday and I'll announce on Wednesday, what the result of the Twitter poll is and what Assassin's Creed I'll be playing on our spoiler
Cool.
cast.
Nice. All right.
All
Well,
right.
you have a good rest of your Saturday evening.
You too.
Hope we do something
Hope
fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hope your Saturday is as fun as your Friday sounded.
That's gonna be hard to beat. I mean, we got this. We got this. We're going here,
That's
so that's
right.
good. I gotta continue it. I gotta go listen to some
Yeah, up
more
up
Red
the
Hot Chili
tempo.
Peppers or
Yeah. We'll have another jam session.
yeah. I need to find a song that I know all the words to. It's hard to
Put on some
do.
selfie.
Yeah, yeah, I did at one person's birthday once they did a karaoke bar, and the
Oh,
song I
right.
sang was, "Y'all Want a Single" by Korn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Nice. Well,
so
you
I'll
can
take
throw
that.
that on, or you can throw on some Feelin' Giovanni or, whatever you want.
I'll probably not do that one. Probably not. So, sorry, Luann. But, alright. Well,
All right.
everybody, thanks for tuning in, and have a good weekend.
Cheers.
Bye,
Bye.
Andrea.